India's Covaxin vaccine is in the middle of a corruption storm in Brazil. On Friday, 2nd of July, the Supreme Court of Brazil ordered a criminal investigation against President Jair Bolsonaro for dereliction of duty. The allegations made against the Bolsonaro administration suggest that there were irregularities, possibly corruption, involved in the contract for the purchase of 20 million doses of Covaxin for $300 million. This investigation was set off after Ricardo Miranda, the chief of Brazil's health ministry's import division, said he faced undue pressure to clear the import deal related to Covaxin. Miranda also testified at the ongoing Senate probe that there were irregularities in the invoices, especially in the case of one invoice which asks for $45 million upfront payment to a Singapore-based company which is not even part of the contract. Miranda and his brother Louis, a lawmaker who was closely associated with Bolsonaro in the past, say they took their concerns directly to the president, and they were assured by Bolsonaro himself that the irregularities would be reported to the Federal Police of Brazil. However, nothing happened. In fact, the Federal Police told the Associated Press that they never even received any information on the matter. And it's not just the irregularities in the invoices that raised suspicions around the vaccine. In February, when the deal was signed between the Bolsonaro administration and Bharat BioTech, Covaxin did not have any regulatory approval in the country. It was also the most expensive vaccine to be purchased by Brazil. The Brazilian government was going to pay $320 million for Covaxin to Precisa Medicamentos, the official representative of Bharat BioTech in Brazil. Essentially, each Covaxin dose would cost $15, whereas comparatively, Pfizer, which has had regulatory approval, costs $10 only. Despite the price variance and the lack of a regulatory approval, Covaxin received what can only be seen as preferential treatment. Consider this. President Jair Bolsonaro, the man who campaigned against vaccines, who denied purchasing Pfizer vaccines last year at half the price paid by the US and the European Union, puts his entire weight behind the idea of purchasing Covaxin shots and communicated with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, essentially lobbying for a vaccine that was more expensive and wasn't even approved by the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency and the WHO. As the corruption scandal unfolds, there is anger amongst the people. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets across 350 cities after the Supreme Court authorized the investigations. President Bolsonaro has rejected the allegations and denied having any knowledge of the corruption. Bharat BioTech has also denied any wrongdoing with respect to the supply of the vaccine. But the question of why exactly the vaccine was lobbied in this fashion remains hanging in the air. And it may receive some answers as the investigation unfolds. In the meantime, Covaxin, the export of which was showcased as India's growing prowess, remains entangled in a corruption scandal, and its image has suffered severely in Brazil. What does that mean for the future of Bharat BioTech and Covaxin exports? We spoke to Neeta Sanghi, who has over 3 decades of experience in managing pharmaceutical supply chains.
We must remember that in the long history of the Indian pharmaceutical industry, this is the first vaccine which has been completely developed in-house without any foreign collaboration, and which has wrought now proven safety and efficacy in its clinical trials, which are also large ones, and usage in the India, in the real world, while data may not yet have been collated. In this scenario, where already the price and the availability were concerns, I'm sure that the company could have done without, this whole issue of the corruption case coming up in Brazil. Do I think that the countries are going to stop importing Covaxin if they had planned to import Covaxin because of the corruption case? In today's scenario, where vaccines are so scarce and where the pandemic is, just not reducing its footprint, I think it will have only a limited impact on Covaxin export. The bigger impact will of course be the availability. But still, you mentioned about, and it's very true. We've had this as a country. We've not been shy about stating our ambitions, our aspirations of having a brand, from India, rule the world kind of a thing, a resounding success, something like akin to a Pfizer brand, that I think will surely get impacted. So the image of the brand will definitely get impacted in the short run. Although, of course, let me hasten to add that the jury is still out on the corruption case. I mean, it's not, we are not sure. We've just been reading some reports. We still don't know the true facts in that case. But there'll surely be a temporary impact on the brand and the company.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.